Hey guys, I'm Alistair, and this is the Nike Pegasus Trail 5 GTX. So, what is this shoe all about? Well, yes, you've probably already guessed it. It's the waterproof version of the Pegasus Trail 5. A shoe that ranked really highly in my review. The performance of this shoe as a road to trail transition shoe is absolutely fantastic. It's currently my #1 rated road to trail running shoe right now. So if you're interested in learning more about this, definitely head up to my video review up there to learn more about that one next. But back to the Pegasus Trail 5 GTX. This shoe is literally designed to do all the things that the Pegasus Trail 5 can do, but in more adverse weather conditions. So that means if it's raining or if you're in wetter conditions, the trails are a bit wetter, or you're running on the roads, anything like that, there's just more protection in the upper to keep your feet dry. And there are some awesome new features to this shoe as well that I think, in my opinion, actually makes it a better shoe than a non-waterproof version. That absolutely never happens, by the way. And I'm going to explain all my reasoning for putting out such a bold statement like that throughout this review. I'll also let you know how they perform on the trails, on the roads, and of course I'll give you my final verdict to let you know if they're worth the price tag. They're also fantastic for travel, so I actually took these as my choice of shoe whilst visiting the UK over Christmas not that long ago. And I have to say, it performed fantastically. I mean, anyone living in the UK or who's visited the UK knows it's always wet, especially around Christmas time. It's muddy if you're going on family hikes, anything like that. So I really needed the shoe that I could just use for walking around town, but also going on those impromptu family hikes over Christmas. And these shoes performed absolutely brilliant for that. So if you are looking for a general lifestyle shoe, then these are actually going to be really good for you too. Straight into the key specifications of the Nike Pegasus Trail 5 Gore-Tex. They cost $170. I will let you know by the end of this review if I believe they're worth that price tag. I think you already know they are. They weigh 9.8 ounces for a size US men's 9. Or 278 grams. And by the way, the non-waterproof version weighed 10.2 ounces. Yes, what the heck? A GTX Gore-Tex waterproof version of a running shoe being lighter than a non-waterproof running shoe? That is rare. They have a drop of 9.5 millimeters, and the upper is using Gore-Tex's Invisible Fit, which is absolutely fantastic. It's got lots of flex in there and waterproof protection. And it also has a built-in gaiter, this section around here, which helps keep debris and water from coming in the shoe. The non-GTX version, of course, does not have this. The outsole is using Nike's proprietary ATC, or all-terrain compound rubber, on the outsole, which is fantastic, by the way. They first introduced that on the Pegasus Trail 5, the non-waterproof version. And testing that on actually pretty technical trails, I took them on some of the hardest stuff and they performed exceptionally well. Yes, the lugs aren't particularly deep, but this rubber compound is fantastic. The midsole is using Nike React X foam, which has a really nice balanced ride. So there's a good amount of cushioning, but it's also responsive. And the shoe is very much a road to trail running shoe for running on roads, but also light to moderate trails, and especially in wet conditions. When it comes to sizing and fit, they are true to size. If you're used to Nike running shoes, go with the usual size, and they have a medium width. The Gore-Tex Invisible Fit upper is surprisingly comfortable. It's just as comfortable as the Pegasus Trail 5, but in a different way. There's plenty of flex to it, and of course it gives you waterproof protection. And like I said before, the gaiter around the collar and the heel counter is great for keeping out debris and water as well. So you get a lot of added benefits from this redesigned upper for the Gore-Tex version. It gives a surprisingly good heel lock as well, and generally just gives you a great secure fit when you're running. That wasn't something I was expecting from a built-in gaiter like this. If you're enjoying this review, please give it a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to my channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. I try to keep things as authentic as possible, genuine. I'm never biased by brands. Even though a lot of the time brands do send me shoes, I'm never afraid to slate a shoe if it's shit. And if you've been following the channel for a while now, you'll know that. If you've got absolutely any questions by the time you finish with this review, just let me know in the comments down below. Maybe you've got specific needs or requirements for your running shoes, whether it's trail or road. I can get you hooked up with the best running shoes for you. I'm somewhat of a savant when it comes to picking running shoes for people and their needs. So just test me, try me in the comments, and I'll get you hooked up with the best shoes for you. You've made it to my performance review. I'm going to start with the things I really like about the Nike Pegasus Trail 5 GTX. I'm going to start with this Invisible Fit upper by Gore-Tex, because that is really the star of the show. That is the main update to this shoe over the non-waterproof version. Literally everything else is pretty much the same. I mean, the outsole and the midsole is the same as this non-waterproof version. So what I'm going to talk about in this review mostly is going to be the upper, because that's where it shines. Now, I very rarely say a waterproof or Gore-Tex running shoe is better than the non-Gore-Tex version. But the Pegasus Trail 5 is really a unicorn. It's fantastic. And that starts with this upper. Normally, waterproof or Gore-Tex running shoes are much bulkier, they're heavier, they're stiffer, and they're less breathable, which makes sense because the upper is waterproof protected, so there's less air going to get through that upper material too. But somehow the Gore-Tex Invisible Fit in this upper is fantastic. It's flexible, there's no popping or cracking, it protects your feet really well from any water, and it's breathable as well. And the heel lock is fantastic, and it's not bulky and it's lighter than the non-waterproof version. So I've absolutely been loving this shoe. The React X midsole foam is fantastic, just as it was in the previous or the non-GTX version, but it feels different. I can't put my finger on it. I mean, it is exactly the same. I mean, there's no difference here. Check these two out. The midsole, the outsole's the same, but it just feels different, and that has to be because of the lock in the upper. Just the fit. I feel like that is changing how the shoe rides, and I think it feels better. It's just a more fine-tuned upper that fits your feet and locks your feet in place better. So the midsole is really bouncy, it's fun, it's responsive, and there's just enough cushioning to make your ride enjoyable over longer distances, or if you've got sharp rocks or things on the trail that tend to jag into the bottom of your feet, there's a lot of protection in this stack height. So it's a great performer on light to moderate trails. I love how it's lighter than the non-GTX version. You really do feel that if you are going up any inclines, it's just much easier to pick up your feet and you'll feel less tired in the long run. The built-in gaiter is fantastic. Absolutely love that. I feel like that should be on the non-GTX version as well, because that would just keep out debris on the trails, and that would actually make the non-GTX version a better shoe because of it. I really like the gaiter whilst using these as a lifestyle shoe as well, because your jeans, trousers or pants, whatever you want to call them or whatever you wear, sit over this gaiter much better than they do on this shoe. They kind of get snagged on the back of this heel counter and finger loop. But here on this shoe, the GTX version, it just sits over the top and hangs down nicely. It just looks better. Then you've got the ATC outsole rubber compound. It's absolutely fantastic. I've talked about this quite a bit in my Pegasus Trail 5 review. How it performs, I took it on some really technical trails and actually performed fantastically. It would be even better if the lugs were deeper. It would make it more of a all-mountain trail running shoe, but as it stands, it's a fantastic road to trail transition shoe that performs very well on moderate trails. But anything muddy and deep, thick mud, that kind of stuff, even though this is a Gore-Tex running shoe, the lugs just aren't deep enough to handle that kind of sloppy mud, unfortunately. But if you do have wet conditions where it's not sloppy, thick mud, then these will be absolutely fine. So that leads me on to the things that could be improved with the shoe. I just mentioned the lugs. That's really the first thing with this. Deeper, more claw-like lugs would make it a much better and much more capable trail running shoe. That said, the deeper the lugs on a road to trail shoe, it's not going to perform as well on the roads. Deep lugs are just going to get torn and worn down quicker if you are running on the roads in a shoe with deep lugs like that. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. To make the shoe better on the trails, you're going to make it probably worse on the roads. So I've just talked myself out of that negative point actually. Nike's probably got it spot on here. That's really it for this shoe. This is my favorite road to trail shoe of 2024, and it's now 2025. Going into this year, it's of course still my favorite so far. If you're watching this video in the future, then definitely check out my best trail running shoes roundup on trailandkale.com. I'll pop a link up there and down in the description so you can go check it out. But on that roundup, I regularly update that as and when I review running shoes or trail running shoes that fit the bill. If they're really good, they do make it onto that list. And that list is categorized into 3 main types of trail running shoes. Number 1 being all mountain trail running shoes. Next one being trail racing shoes. And then the third one being road to trail transition shoes. So definitely go check out that roundup if you are looking for a next pair of trail running shoes. You'll find the best ones on there. Time for my final verdict then. Are they worth $170? 100%, 150, 200%, yes they are. These guys are absolutely fantastic. They build upon the Pegasus Trail 5, which is an incredibly versatile road to trail running shoe. It's also fantastic for lifestyle shoe. If you do just want a lifestyle shoe to wear every day, all day long, then these perform really well because they do protect your feet in winter, but at the same time, they don't overheat in hotter conditions. So they really are a fantastic balance of a shoe that does it all for me. And I think $170 for such a versatile running shoe like this, that can be used as a lifestyle shoe that also looks great, is fantastic value for money. You really can't go wrong with this running shoe. It does allow you to have one shoe for road running and trail running. So if you're just getting into running, you're not sure if you want to do road or trail, these are going to be great for you. Maybe you're a road runner and you want to get into trail running, but you're not sure if you're going to really like it. Then this is going to be a fantastic running shoe for you to get started as well. Or if you're a trail runner, you don't like running on technical trails, you like to do park trails, you like to run around lakes, forest trails, that kind of stuff, then these are going to be fantastic as well. Well, thanks for watching this Nike Pegasus Trail 5 GTX review. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some insights into whether this shoe is going to be good for you in your uses. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a like, share it with a friend, and subscribe to the channel for more running shoe reviews just like this one. You won't be disappointed. I've got tons of great reviews coming up for 2025 and a lot of exciting things to come. So subscribe to the channel and I'll see you on the next review. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.